Oh, hey, babe. Just got back from my run. I got lost. Ended up in a patch of milkweed. I got this stuff all over me, pollen or nectar or something.
Uh-huh, that's nice, dear.
Oh, hey, check this out. That's cool.
Uh-huh, yeah, okay.
Babe, you might want to see this.
Seriously? Whatever. Okay. Okay, love you, dear. Bye.
Hey everybody, I have Mariposa on the table here. This is a game about butterflies in which you will be starting with your butterflies here in Mexico at the bottom of the board, working your way up through the United States, along the East Coast perhaps, and all the way up north into Canada, and hopefully you will be making your trek back down the board, back into Mexico before the end of fall. How you do that? You will play using these action cards. So you will always have 2 of these cards, and on your turn you will play one of them. And they will let you do certain things. So like for instance, this card here on the left tells you you move 1 butterfly 4 spaces, and you collect a flower petal adjacent to the space where you end. And so how movement works in this game is for instance, with this card, you can move 1 butterfly 4 spaces. So I might move that butterfly 4 spaces, and I can move in any direction. I can go up, down, side to side, back and forth. But the thing is I can only collect a flower petal from a space that I haven't already collected that turn. So I could not, if I started here and gotten a flower petal here on this space, I could not go 1, 2, 3, 4 and come back and get another flower petal. I would have to go somewhere else and get another flower petal. Now wherever I end my turn, that's where I gain my flower petal, unless, like it says on this card here, I can gain adjacent to that space that I end on. Some of the other cards let you move multiple butterflies, but you can also pair that up into the same butterfly. So if I played this card at the beginning of the game when I only have 1 butterfly, what that would look like is I would move once, stop, gain a flower petal, move once, stop, gain a flower petal, and move once, stop, and gain another flower petal. That's how that would work. Now you do only start with a Generation 1 butterfly. And what you're going to be doing with all these flower petals that you gain that are over here represented by these tokens, you can spend them, you can cash them in essentially to reproduce, And the way you reproduce is you have to be next to one of these milkweed icons on the board. And milkweed is the only plant that monarch caterpillars eat. And so that's the reason why they're in the game. And when you're next to one of these spots on the board, you can look up here to this chart, and it will tell you how many different flower petals you need to be able to reproduce. So for a Generation 2 butterfly, you need 2 of the same flower petals or any 3 random flower petals. For Generation 3, you need 3 of the same or any 4 random ones, so on and so forth. Now the reason why you see 4 on here twice is because this is to double your Generation 4 butterfly. And again, it's 4 of the same flower petal or any 5. We'll come back to why you want to reproduce and get into the higher generations, but that's essentially moving, gaining the flower petals, and reproducing next to one of these spaces here. Now, you'll see that there are different cities on the board. These are called way stations, and you'll want to visit these places throughout the game because if you are the first person to come here, you'll flip over whatever token is on it, and you'll gain whatever is on the token. So in this case, it tells you a blue caterpillar card. Now what that is, you come over here and look at this board, and you will see that there are 4 different types of cards in 3 different colors. These are way station cards. And you'll want to try to collect a complete set of the color in this game. And so you want 4 blues or perhaps 4 pinks or 4 greens. For every one that you have, regardless of the color, you will gain 1 point at the end of the game. If you can have a complete set, however, you will gain the bonus listed at the end of that row. And this is modular. It changes with each game. You have 3 extras that you will not play with, but you might substitute them out for another game later on. And these are just extra things that give you points at the end of the game. I won't go over all of them right now, but just know that it changes the game up a little bit each time you play. Now, everybody that comes to these way stations gets that benefit that's on the token. If you're the first person there, you just get to reveal the surprise. Everybody else knows what it is, and they will gain it too when they go there. So what is the benefit? Why do I want to go there first? Well, if you are the first one to get there, you get to roll this die, and it gives you a random flower petal. But if you get this icon right here, then you get to pick what flower petal you want. So you get an extra flower petal if you go there first. Now, there are all different cities scattered throughout the board, and if you want to complete those sets, you're going to want to visit a number of those cities. You don't want to just go to the ones that are down here. You want to go to as many as you can. The other thing is, in this game, you will have certain objectives that everyone is trying to complete. At the beginning of the game, the spring one will already be flipped over, and you'll know what it is. For instance, this one tells you that you get 1 point for every butterfly that you have north of Atlanta. So you can find where Atlanta is on the map right here, and any butterflies that you have north of Atlanta, you'll get 1 point for. And then this bottom one tells you 1 point for every butterfly on a red space. As you can see, there are different colored spaces on the board, and in this case, you would want to be on a red space. Now, there are a number of different cards, and so this changes up the game for each time you play, so it won't be the same goals every single time. You'll also have a card for summer that is turned upside down, as well as fall, and you won't reveal these until you get your older generations of butterflies out on the board. So as you can see, this is a Generation 2 butterfly, and once all players have reproduced from their Generation 1 butterflies, they take their Generation 2 butterflies off this card, and when everybody's done that and there are no more butterflies on this card, then it flips over and we get to see what we are trying to accomplish in the summer season. Same thing with the ones that are on the fall card. These are Generation 3 butterflies, as you can see. And so once all the Generation 3 butterflies are off this card, then we reveal it and try to accomplish that goal. In between the spring and summer seasons, you will hatch a Generation 2 butterfly if you haven't already done so, and you will remove your Generation 1 butterflies because butterflies don't live forever. They do unfortunately die. And then in between summer and fall, you'll do the same thing, hatching a Generation 3 if you haven't done so, and removing your Generation 2 butterflies. Now, ultimately, by the end of the fall season, you will want to try to bring your butterflies back down south, and hopefully they will be Generation 4 butterflies, or better yet, Generation 4 doubles. Because for every Generation 4 butterfly that you get back into Mexico by the end of the game, you will get points. And the more that you get back, the more points you get, obviously. And the double ones are a bit more valuable because you are moving 2 butterflies with 1 token. You don't have to worry about 2 separate 4s. You can just worry about 1 4 butterfly that represents 2 butterflies. So that is how that works. Keep track of your points over here, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner, and that is how you play Mariposa. All right, so we have a 2-player playthrough of Mariposa on the screen now. And if you want to check out this video of the 2-player playthrough between me and Sam, click that eye in the top right corner and it'll take you to our video in which we did that. Right now we're going to share our thoughts on this game. Sam, what do you think about Mariposa?
I liked it. It was a really easy game to understand, like the concept of, and at first it seemed a little too simple. You just move and you get the flower petals, but there was more strategy than meets the eye, especially when you get to the end and you realize, oh no, I'm at the very top and I need to get down. So you had to figure out what's more important, moving or getting flower petals,
right?
And getting how many butterflies. And I want to play again because I really feel like I needed to play better.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is a game that lends itself to positive feelings of, I know I can get better.
Yeah.
I want to play this again because I know I can get better. I think it kind of gives you that feeling of expertise. Like I feel like I can become an expert in this game, if that makes sense. Because I feel like it's a lot about timing in this game, knowing the right time of when to start your trek back down to the bottom of the board.
Yeah, I definitely was way too confident at the end, and I should have started heading back earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What did you think about the different goal cards of, you got to get so many butterflies north of Atlanta or on red spaces or this or that? What did you think about that idea in the game?
I liked it. It gave an additional challenge. I mean, it was optional, so you didn't have to do it. But I do feel like it kind of, made it a little bit more difficult. I can see as I learned the strategy more, being able to focus on them more. But I feel like probably the first playthrough, I was so focused on other things that I didn't do those as much.
Now, you say they're optional, but I mean, it is kind of one of the primary ways of getting points.
True, yes.
I mean, it's not, the overall idea is getting your butterflies to reproduce and getting them back to Mexico. That's the biggest way to get those points. But that is still kind of an important thing to do throughout the middle parts of the game. Did you feel like, in any sense, is this gonna be the same game over and over again? Is it gonna get samey? Let me ask it that way.
I feel like it's really hard to tell at this point, only of playing it one time, but I could see it feeling that way just because there's no changing the board. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I could see that. It's not something I had thought about at the time.
Yeah, that's kind of maybe my biggest critique on the game is just I worry that if I play this 6, 7, 8 times, is it going to still feel exactly like it did before? And I know there's different goal cards, there's different bonus cards for whenever you have a complete set of the way station cards. I know that mixes the game up a little bit. I'm just kind of worried that it might still feel samey even with all of those changes to it. So outside of that, for me, I think this is a great game. I think this is maybe even, because I know this and Wingspan are going to get a lot of comparisons because they're both from Elizabeth Hargrave. I think in some ways this game's a better game for non-gamers maybe than Wingspan. What would you say, Sam?
Yeah, I could see that. It's simpler. It took me probably 2 playthroughs of Wingspan to really love the game as much. And this one, it was a one time. I understood it. I got it. And I feel like I could get better as I play more.
Is it as fun?
No.
Okay, so you would say Wingspan is still more fun.
Yes, but I feel like this was a little bit quicker. Mm-hmm. And if you're looking for a good game, but unique, but good for non-gamers, I would go for this one over Wingspan. But I do want to say one thing about the way station cards on the side there. Uh-huh. I focused a lot on those, of getting the different
life cycle cards.
Yeah, the life cycle cards. And I do feel that did not add much to the game. I focused a lot on those. I followed those along the board, and I feel like it hurt me more than anything. And even with getting them, it just didn't add much. The
benefit wasn't as much there for you?
Yeah, I wish I would not have focused on those because it didn't add the points. I should have focused more on
the gold cards.
The gold cards, yes. And that's what I would do next time.
Yeah, I think for sure the gold cards are the bigger thing there that makes up the portion of where you're going to get your points outside of Generation 4 butterflies in Mexico at the end of the game. The life cycle cards are kind of just a little tacked on, I feel like. And in our particular game, neither one of us got a full complete set.
No.
We each had 5 cards total. And at least in a 2-player game, I do think in more players you will see more life cycle cards collected because the odds are that the way stations will be revealed more. and then in a 2-player game. But in a 2-player game, maybe even a 3-player game, I just don't know how much that's going to come into the game. And so this that whole aspect of the game, I think, might shine a little bit better in higher player counts than in lower player counts.
Yeah, I just found myself, going around the perimeter of the board trying to get those, and I feel like that hurt me more than helps anything.
Right. Okay, so let's get to our reviews on this game. Sam, I'll go first. I liked this game. I know we're kind of heaping on it here. It might seem like
nitpicking a little bit.
Yeah, but I really did enjoy this game, and I meant what I said there at the beginning, that it's one that makes you feel like you can become an expert at it, and I enjoy that. I really enjoy that in games. So I'm going to give this game probably a 7.5, maybe right there, right halfway in between 7 and 8. What about you, Sam?
I think an 8.2.
Wow.
I really do like it. Again, I feel like this sounds like a negative review, and it's not. It's a really fun game. I like the fact that it was just easy to understand, so I could play well the first time.
Okay.
And it did at the end. You wanted to play again, which I think always gets higher marks.
Yeah, exactly. So the question, is this a game you think would go well with non-gamers?
Absolutely. I think it's a great game. It's easy to understand, and I feel like it just expands a non-gamer's view of what board games can be, not just roll and move. Something different, something pretty and exciting.
I think I agree with that, absolutely. The theme is great with this, and like you said, it does draw a non-gamer into it. So there you have it, folks. This is a great game. Check it out. Check the link in the description to purchase this game if you'd like. If you like this video, consider liking and subscribing. We are Love to Hate.